Most people think the key to rebuilding muscle after 50 is simply eating more protein. And while protein is essential, there's a surprising mineral that may be even more critical. And it's one that many people over 50 are dangerously low in. That mineral is magnesium. Now, that might not sound dramatic, but here's what the science shows. Low magnesium levels are strongly linked to accelerated muscle loss, slower recovery, reduced strength, and even poor sleep and insulin resistance, all of which compound the problem of age muscle decline, also known as sarcopenia. Here's the surprising twist. Studies show that increasing magnesium intake can boost muscle performance, support protein synthesis, and even enhance mitochondrial function, the energy factories inside your cells. In fact, one clinical study from the University of Palermo found that older adults who supplemented with magnesium had significantly better muscle strength and physical performance compared to those who didn't, even when protein intake was the same. Why does this matter? Because after age 50, your body becomes increasingly resistant to growth signals. The hormonal environment shifts, recovery slows, muscle cells respond differently to exercise and nutrition, and unless you intervene with the right tools, your strength, independence, and vitality slowly begin to erode. But that erosion is not inevitable. The great news is, by optimizing levels of this overlooked mineral, especially in combination with resistance training and proper sleep, you can reawaken the body's ability to build and preserve lean muscle. And in this episode, we're going to break down exactly how that works. We'll explore how magnesium affects muscle function at the cellular level, what happens in your nervous system and brain when you're deficient, and how to time your intake for maximum effect. Most importantly, we'll walk through simple, research-backed protocols to restore optimal levels using food, supplementation, and behavioral strategies that actually work. If you're over 50, this might be one of the most empowering, science-backed shifts you can make for long-term health and vitality. Let's get into it. If you've ever felt like your body just doesn't bounce back the way it used to after 50, less strength, slower recovery, or muscles that feel weaker despite regular exercise, magnesium may be the missing link. Here's what the research shows. Magnesium plays a direct role in muscle protein synthesis, the very process your body uses to build and repair muscle tissue. And yet, studies from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, and Haynes, reveal that nearly 70% of adults over 50 aren't getting enough of it. Why does this matter? Because even with a good diet and regular resistance training, low magnesium levels create a kind of metabolic bottleneck. The amino acids you eat can't efficiently convert into muscle. The signals that tell your muscles to grow get weaker, and enzymes involved in energy production and tissue repair can't function optimally. In one clinical study published in the journal Magnesium Research, older adults with higher magnesium intake showed significantly greater muscle mass and leg power, independent of protein intake. This means that without magnesium, your body may struggle to respond to even the best nutrition and exercise efforts. Let's put it into a real-world analogy. Imagine trying to build a house with plenty of bricks, protein, but not enough workers, or scaffolding, magnesium. The structure either takes forever to build or falls apart over time. And this is especially important after age 50, when the body naturally becomes more resistant to anabolic or muscle building signals. You need every tool working in your favor, and magnesium helps unlock the full power of the tools you already have. But there's another problem. Magnesium depletion often goes unnoticed. It doesn't always show up on standard blood tests, since less than 1% of magnesium is in your bloodstream. Most is stored in bone and muscle tissue. That means even normal labs can hide a chronic deficiency while your muscles quietly weaken. So how do you know if it's affecting you? Watch for subtle signs: muscle cramps, restless sleep, reduced exercise tolerance, chronic fatigue, or even anxiety. These are often early clues. A simple tool to apply here is this. Start by reviewing your daily magnesium intake from both food and supplements. Aim for at least 420 milligrams per day for men and 320 milligrams for women, though some people benefit from more. Use a food tracking app or even a handwritten log to see if you're consistently under. We'll explore how to get those numbers up through food and supplements later. For now, know this. Rebuilding muscle after 50 doesn't start with more protein. It starts with unlocking your body's ability to use protein effectively. And that begins with magnesium. If you've ever wondered why some workouts leave you energized, while others leave you drained and sore for days, magnesium may be the hidden variable. What's happening inside your body when you move, whether you're lifting weights, walking uphill, or simply rising from a chair, is a finely coordinated symphony of electrical impulses, calcium flows, and energy transfer. And magnesium is the conductor behind it all. Let's break it down. At the cellular level, magnesium is essential for ATP activation. That's adenosine triphosphate, the molecule your body uses for energy. But here's what most people don't realize. ATP isn't actually biologically active until it binds to magnesium. That's right, without magnesium, your cells can't properly access or use energy. This affects everything from the contractile force of your muscles to your rate of recovery post-exercise. And it gets even more interesting when we look at mitochondria, the power generators inside your muscle cells. Studies from the Journal of Physiology show that magnesium improves mitochondrial efficiency, allowing your muscles to produce more energy with less fatigue. It's like upgrading your engine for both endurance and strength. So when people over 50 complain of muscle exhaustion, plateaued progress, or sluggish recovery, they're often unknowingly operating on a kind of internal power shortage. Here's a simple analogy. Imagine charging your phone with a weak cable. It takes longer and overheats. That's what your muscles feel like when magnesium is low. And it's not just about energy, it's about control. Magnesium regulates calcium influx in muscle cells. When you contract a muscle, calcium floods in to initiate the contraction. When it's time to relax, magnesium helps pump that calcium back out. Without enough magnesium, this cycle becomes erratic, leading to cramps, twitches, or muscle tightness. One practical tool: try taking note of how your body responds to exercise on days when you've had magnesium-rich meals, leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, legumes, compared to days when you haven't. Many people find a subtle but noticeable improvement in muscle control and post-exercise soreness. This brings us to another critical point: post-workout recovery. Inflammation and muscle breakdown naturally follow resistance training, especially after 50. Magnesium helps reduce this inflammation by regulating cytokines, chemical messengers involved in tissue repair. One study in biological trace element research found that magnesium supplementation significantly reduced exercise-induced muscle damage and oxidative stress in older adults. So if you're trying to build muscle, but feel like every workout sets you back instead of moving you forward, magnesium may be the recovery switch you've overlooked. If this insight is helping you, consider subscribing to the channel. We go deep into these kinds of tools to help you optimize your brain, body, and performance, all grounded in real science. And remember, strength isn't just built in the gym, it's rebuilt in recovery. And magnesium is one of your most powerful allies in that process. Let's step back and look at the broader picture. Building muscle isn't just about what happens during a workout or even directly after. It's about the environment your body is operating in 24 hours a day. And if that internal environment is stressed, inflamed, or metabolically imbalanced, it becomes extremely difficult for your body to maintain muscle, let alone grow it. This is where magnesium steps into its most powerful and perhaps underappreciated role as a neuromodulator and metabolic regulator. Let's begin with stress. When you're under mental or physical stress, your body releases cortisol, a catabolic hormone that breaks down tissue to mobilize energy. In small bursts, cortisol is adaptive, but chronically elevated cortisol, something many adults over 50 experience, can accelerate muscle breakdown and increase abdominal fat. Here's the connection. Magnesium helps regulate the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, HPA, axis, the system that controls your stress response. Research published in Neuropharmacology shows that magnesium supplementation can lower cortisol levels and reduce symptoms of anxiety, both of which are deeply tied to how well your body preserves lean tissue. So if you find yourself tired but wired at night, or craving sugar and carbs under stress, magnesium deficiency could be the silent culprit. Now let's talk sleep, the cornerstone of all recovery. Magnesium is necessary for the production of GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, a neurotransmitter that calms brain activity and prepares your body for deep restorative sleep. Without adequate GABA signaling, you may fall asleep slowly, wake up frequently, or fail to reach the deep stages of sleep where growth hormone is released, the hormone that actually rebuilds muscle tissue. In fact, a double-blind, placebo-controlled study published in the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences found that older adults who supplemented with magnesium experienced significantly improved sleep quality, including longer duration and fewer awakenings. Think of it this way: magnesium isn't just helping you sleep, it's unlocking the hormonal cascade that lets your body heal, grow, and repair during the night. Now on to metabolism. Insulin is one of the body's most anabolic hormones. It drives nutrients into muscle cells and signals the body to store energy in muscle rather than fat. But over time, and especially with age, many people develop insulin resistance, meaning the body has to produce more and more insulin to get the same effect. Magnesium improves insulin sensitivity at the cellular level. It helps insulin bind more efficiently to its receptors and supports the transport of glucose into muscle cells where it's used for energy. Without enough magnesium, this system falters and muscles begin to starve for fuel, even when you're eating well. One meta-analysis published in Diabetes and Metabolism found that individuals with higher magnesium intake had a significantly lower risk of developing insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. That's not just metabolic health, that's muscle health too. Here's a simple behavioral tool to tie it all together. Consider taking magnesium 1-2 hours before bed, preferably in the form of magnesium glycinate or taurate, which are better for calming the nervous system. Not only can this improve your sleep quality and reduce nighttime cortisol, but it may also enhance next-day insulin sensitivity and recovery capacity. In short, if you want to rebuild muscle after 50, don't just think about protein or workouts. Think about the conditions your body needs to absorb, recover, and grow. And magnesium is at the heart of all three: stress, sleep, and metabolism. Let's consider something most people miss when they think about muscle health. Your muscles don't move themselves. Every action you take, from standing up off the couch to catching your balance on an uneven sidewalk, starts not in your biceps or quads, but in your brain and nervous system. And this is where magnesium plays another critical and often underestimated role. Here's the core insight. Magnesium is essential for neurotransmission, the process your brain uses to communicate with muscles. It acts like an electrical buffer, ensuring your neurons fire properly and muscles respond smoothly. Without enough magnesium, those signals become erratic. Movements slow down, reaction times lag, balance becomes more difficult, coordination slips. You've probably seen this in action, maybe in yourself, maybe in someone close to you. A misstep, a slower reflex, a hesitation before rising from a chair. These changes aren't just about aging. In many cases, they're about magnesium deficiency impairing neuromuscular control, what's happening in the brain when magnesium is low. First, low magnesium levels increase NMDA receptor activity, which can overstimulate neurons and lead to heightened excitability. And this is part of why magnesium is often used to help reduce anxiety and restlessness. But it also affects motor neurons, the specialized nerve cells that control muscle contraction. The same is true when there's too little. The specialized nerve cells that control muscle contraction, without proper regulation, signals become noisy, like static on a radio channel. A 2017 study published in Neuroscience found that magnesium plays a direct role in protecting motor neurons from age degeneration. This is vital after 50, when natural neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and repair, begins to decline. Magnesium helps keep that adaptive capacity alive. Now think about this in real-world terms. If your nervous system can't send strong, accurate signals to your muscles, Even the best diet and workout plan won't reach their full potential. It's like trying to drive a sports car with frayed wires under the hood. This also explains why low magnesium has been linked to increased fall risk in older adults. Inadequate magnesium disrupts proprioception, your sense of where your body is in space. And just a small decline in that internal GPS system can lead to life-altering injuries. So here's a simple tool. Incorporate gentle neuromuscular rewiring exercises in your weekly routine. Things like balance drills, slow eccentric movements, or coordination tasks like toe-to-heel walks or single leg stands. When paired with proper magnesium levels, these help strengthen the connection between your brain and muscles, improving strength, agility, and confidence in motion. If you're finding value in this kind of science-based approach to performance and health, hit that subscribe button. We're building a community focused on lifelong vitality, rooted in real neuroscience and behavioral tools that work. In sum, muscle is more than mass. It's intelligent tissue, wired directly to your brain. And magnesium isn't just building the muscle, it's helping connect the mind to the muscle, keeping your movement sharp, safe, and responsive well into your later years. We've covered why magnesium is essential, from energy production and muscle contraction to nervous system support and hormonal balance. But not all magnesium supplements are created equal. And when it comes to rebuilding muscle after 50, form and timing matter almost as much as the mineral itself. Let's start with a simple truth. Some forms of magnesium are poorly absorbed by the body. Take magnesium oxide, for example. It's commonly found in cheap supplements,